Hello everybody and welcome back to the Fantasy Football Fix YouTube channel and to the last time of the 23-24 season to an episode of Eddie versus the Algorithm, the series here where I'll be taking you through the highest predicted point scoring team from the computer for Game Week 38 as well as my own personal free hit draft to try and take it on and outscore it 4 points. So this week it's going to be a lot of focus on this kind of last week punts, differentials, players predicted to score the most points. I've got my favoured picks in for you guys to make sure that if you're looking to try and beat your mini league rival, you're looking to try and gain that last little bit of rank to get you to wherever your target is, then I've hopefully got you covered in this one. I just want to say before we get into it, a massive thank you for all of you behind the camera who've chosen to tune in to one episode, to every episode throughout the year. It's meant a massive amount to me that people have chosen to follow along with this series, and it has been getting, regular viewership and regular support. So thank you to all of you guys for that and all your warm comments down below each video. With enough of the soppy bollocks out of the way, let's get into having a look at some FPL stuff, shall we? Let's get into things. Got a bit emotional that, but no, we'll move into having a look at something that I get less emotional over most of the time, and that is fantasy football. So let's kick off with the goalkeeper. 77 predicted points for the Algo team this week. Not looking as great as last week, obviously, but we've not got a double game week. It's still a relatively high average predicted points total. And then the current score is 2015. I kind of didn't mention that in the intro. Algorithm did beat me last week in game week 37. So there you go. It has managed to crawl one back, and the scoreline is looking a little bit closer than it did a number of game weeks ago. But let's have a look at the goalkeeper for this week. It's going to be Alisson Becker, and he's joined in defence by Trent Alexander-Arnold of Liverpool. To be honest, I'm not really focusing much on the defender discussion this week, and I'm not going to be talking about them in great detail of depth, just because I think that last game week transfers are going to be a little bit wasted on defenders, unless maybe you are going for a Trent Alexander-Arnold or someone with serious attacking potential. Goalkeeper, just don't go there unless you've got Edison or maybe you've got no backup goalkeeper, in which case transfer over to Ortega for 3.6 million. But really, speaking about goalkeepers, you shouldn't be changing your goalkeeper last game week of the season. I don't think there's much upside there at all. In defence, we've got Trent Alexander-Arnold, who is an example of a defender who's proven time and time again he can score 10, 15 plus points in one game week. So he is an example of where I think a defender transfer could be worthwhile, especially if you've got injuries, etc., and some funds in the bank to do that move, then I definitely recommend it. But really, on the whole, I don't think there's too much upside to be gained with defenders this year, just because I think clean sheets have been very, very difficult to come by, and I'm not even confident that Trent will keep a clean sheet in that game against Wolves, so he'd have to probably get, one or two attacking returns to make it look worthwhile for you using your transfer there. We've then got Ben White and Gabriel in the back line as well to complete that back three. Arsenal, I think this will be a case of getting 1 goal, 2 goals, and then shutting up shop for Arsenal. I don't think the game against Everton is going to be a particularly high scoring one. Whether Everton will come out and have a go at them, I kind of hope they do and make the last day a bit exciting. But I think we've had quite a number of exciting final days of the season, recently. And I don't think this one's going to be as exciting. I genuinely think that although it's come down to the last day, I think Arsenal and City will probably just both win their games quite comfortably and will take it quite conservatively after they've got 1 or 2 past their opposition. So White and Gabriel, I think there's a pretty high chance of a clean sheet there. And I think that's good justification for having them both in. Definitely could be a worthwhile transfer there with Ben White as well if you're looking to go there. But I think you have got more upside in someone like a Trent personally for me. In midfield, we're going to see a 5 of Salah, Havertz, Johnson, Palmer and Son. So really liking the look of this midfield 5. It does actually share some players with the midfield that I've selected to go for, which we'll see in just a mo. But Johnson and Son in particular are players that I do like the look of. I've chosen to go with only one of them, a little bit risky, but I think the Spurs will do well against Sheffield United, and I think both of these two are likely to be involved if they do well against Sheffield United, of course. I think Ange will send that team out to kind of put on a show after the performance against Man City, the response from the fans. I think we're going to see one of those away Spurs performances where they do just kind of hammer the opposition. So maybe it'll be high scoring from both teams, but personally, I think that there will be goals in that game no matter what. And I might be completely way off with my prediction, but I think that these two are very good selections for this week. Palmer's a bit of a no-brainer. Home game against Bournemouth in the kind of form he's in. Just has to be in your team, really. And then Havertz is a punt that I do like. Going for him over someone like Saka last game week of the season. game where Arsenal need at least one goal, I think that's a good selection there. Him or Odegaard, I would pick over Saka just because of ownership reasons, unless, of course, you're at very high rank and looking to protect where you are, in which case you could just opt to go for Saka, but that's a bit boring. Don't be boring. Then finally, we've got Mohamed Salah, who is just a player who's not in form despite what he's done in the past in FPL. I think that he could be a great option as a differential if you've got the funds to move to him this week, or maybe you've even owning him already. Still, you could opt to put the armband on him. The algorithm's gone with the vice-captain's armband here, however, because the captain's band is, of course, on Erling Haaland for City's home game against West Ham, final game week of the season, where they need to score and just win, and that means they've won the title. So I think Haaland will be captained by the overwhelming majority of FPL managers, and so you could say it's a bit stupid to not captain him. It could result in a pretty big red arrow, but if you really need to gain something and you don't feel like you've got too much to lose, then putting the armband elsewhere could be a good option. We will compare him with 3 other captain options in just a mo. We've then got Chris Wood, Burnley away. A nice fixture for Nottingham Forest. Both team with nothing to play for now, really. That Luton's relegation is confirmed unless they score like 15 goals or something in their last game and win and Forest lose. So there's really nothing to play for both teams. I think we could see some goals in that one. Chris Wood has been in fine form, really, this season, especially towards the back end. So, yeah, Chris Wood has been known to score multiple goals in one game, and I kind of like that as a last week punt if you're looking for a forward. On the bench, we've got Vardiol, Doughty, and Muniz of Fulham. So, yeah, some nice picks there as well, to be honest. Vardiol, we know the kind of form he's been in. What is it, 5 goals now he's scored in the league? Absolutely ridiculous. And Muniz as well is a pick that I don't mind too much in that game against Luton, where, of course, there's kind of nothing to play for now. One last hurrah for Luton. Sad to see them go down, but hopefully they can do well in their final send-off against Fulham. Let's have a look at my team now and see how it compares then. So my side looks a little bit different. I've shuffled some picks around. I have actually gone with 2 Manchester City defensive options because I think, again, it might be a case of where City grab 1 goal or maybe 2 and they shut up shop. They have been a pretty solid defence. I still think West Ham could grab something there. I was considering sticking one of their midfield options in there like Mohamed Kudus, who I think could be a good last game week punt. But I've gone with Ortega and I've gone with Vardiol. Vardiol just for his attacking threat as well. I think alone would make it into this side. I've then gone with Trent and Gusto with James out for now, 4 game weeks? He'll miss the first 3 game weeks of that next season even. Gusto is going to be nailed for not only this game week, but the foreseeable future come August as well. So I like him as an option. He's in this side. The midfield looks pretty similar. I have gone with Elise and Mateta, though, over Son and Chris Wood. So I've backed Crystal Palace in the form they're in to do well final game of the season. And then you've kind of got some players that were in the first 11 down there on the bench. So although, I picked this at a completely different time to the algorithm, the teams actually have ended up looking all rather similar. We've got Wood and White, who were in the first 11 down there on the bench alongside Reguilon. So let me know, guys, which team do you think looks better down below in the comments. I've also done the vice captain's armband on Johnson. I would consider maybe even a punt on him as a captain if you are looking to chase some serious rank in this final game week. But let's have a look at some differential captain options you can go with. Speaking of that, let's have a discussion and have a look at our captaincy matrix. So here we go then, Erling Haaland alongside Heung-min Son, Mo Salah and Cole Palmer. Probably 3 of the players you pick to be the second biggest captaincy option behind Erling Haaland anyway, I should say. And so there is an element of argument for saying, if you're not going to captain Haaland anyway, go for someone ridiculous and go for the biggest rank gains there. And to that I say, yeah, I kind of understand. Salah is only at 17% ownership, but Palmer and Son are going to be at pretty high ownership. So maybe the argument there is to even go for someone like a Johnson, who I mentioned, or to someone like a ridiculous punt, Mateta, Elise, these type of players who, might be higher owned come the game week deadline. But I think overall, if you captain them and they do well, are going to see your rank kind of skyrocket in comparison to captaining someone like a Palmer and them doing well, it would be a much bigger effect and impact on your overall ranking. But comparing these four together, we've got Erling Haaland on 8.3 predicted points. Salah's not too far behind on 7.7. We saw he took the vice-captain's armband in the algorithm side. And then Son and Palmer tied on 7.1 apiece. But all the data kind of does just go in favour of Erling Haaland. You can see down below, expected goals conceded of West Ham is the poorest out of the four defences these guys are facing. Even Sheffield United on 1.92 are quite a lot better than West Ham, it would seem. Expected goals also going in favour of Man City, Chelsea being the second or third strongest attack behind Liverpool on 2.38 there. And then finally, Erling Haaland leading the way on an individual note. Expected FPL points per 90 over the last 6 of 10.4. Even Cole Palmer in the kind of form he's been in only can get to 8.3 or 0.3, and Salah on 7.2. Heung-min Son's been the poorest performer of the bunch on 4.9. Kind of contributed to why I've actually left him out entirely of my team, and he was the one I chose to remove to go for Michael Elise in my final side. So yeah, let me know your guys' opinions on the captaincy. Are you looking to captain someone differential? Even if you're not, if you were, who would that player be? Let me know down below in the comments. I'm interested to see your guys' thoughts. As always, comment down below if you think Eddie or the algorithm's going to win for this final game week of the season. But once again, can I just repeat from the start of the video that I much appreciate everyone who's tuned in to even one video, or if you've been a recurrent viewer coming back time and time again, then even more so. So thank you very much for the course of the season. I hope you're happy with your final overall rank. I hope game week 38 goes well for you. And with that, I'll bid you a goodbye. Take care, everyone. I'll see you soon.